Paul, well, I mean, obviously top line, another clean sheet, and another kind of point on the way. But more important than that, what was your kind of feeling on the performance?
A sort of a step in the right direction. I thought we were a lot better in the final third today. We had more shots and more attempts on goal and looked more of a threat on set pieces. So I was pretty pleased with that. We defended really well. Like, I can't speak highly enough for Craig. And generally, like, it just felt like one goal would then, explode the game, as in, like, the other team would go for it a bit more. We were trying to go for it. We did everything we could, and I think the pace of the game, I prefer it to be quicker. I don't make any excuses, and the best compliment I can pay really is that Louis hasn't played for 7 months or whatever. He's like 52, and he plays for over 60 minutes. So I think that shows that where we want to go to. And like, fair play to Louis. And when he came off, it was like everyone was pretty emotional. I know that moment myself when my career ended. So it was fitting, possibly, that we kept a clean sheet. It was just disappointing we didn't get a win for him. And the atmosphere in here today was ledge. Obviously, Grimsby, well-supported team, brought a good following as well, and it made it for like a sort of entertaining end-to-end game. And I just think the game deserved goals, but it wasn't to be.
Just a note on Dean Lewington. Then obviously that, I mean, you talked to me about him in the week. Sometimes in glowing terms, other times.
Yeah, mostly in glowing terms. Yeah. But I just said that he loves nicking a free kick, doesn't he? He loves it. I don't think he nicked one today. No. The irony. He obviously,
we're all waiting for it. More than a goal, I think.
He obviously read my press. He's obsessed with me. I understand that. So he didn't win a free kick today. I mean, that would have got a standing ovation. That would have been like, if you watch Escape to Victory when he done the overhead kick and all that, it'd have been one of them moments. But no such luck. But yeah, Louis was excellent. You can see, I mean, everyone knows what a good player he's been, and everyone's been speaking highly of him, and so they should. He can pick a pass. He's a real competitor, and I asked the lads before the game to leave everything out there for him, and I think the lads did. So that, in that respect, I'm really proud of the group.
And on the crowd as well. I mean, it does show that, I mean, even without success, there was a lot of noise. There was a lot of passion about, obviously, Dean Lewington, but about the club, and it's there. It just needs someone to come in and take it higher up, doesn't it? Yeah,
well, I think that's the same at every football club. Every set of fans wants to see goals and wins and things like that. And this is, I'm not saying it's a sleeping giant, but I have seen it in Great Nick when it was in the Champ, and I have seen it really packed. And it's our job as coaches and players here to put on a real show that people want to come and watch. First and foremost, people want to watch winning teams, so that's our job, and that'll be our job in the summer to change what we think. We've got a bit of a dearth of, so we need to put some. I think we need some pace in the team if that's available to us. But yeah, I thought the fans were really positive with the team, and in fairness, that helps the players, and then the players play well, and that helps the fans' positivity. So I'd like to think that anyone who came today has seen a group of players that gave their all, tried to win the game, and unfortunately wasn't to be. But then, in fairness, the opposition are trying to get in the playoffs. So I think before the game started, they were 7th, and I would like to think that we would finish above 7th next year. That's why we've come here. So if that's the benchmark, I thought our lads, performed really well.
But alluded to it, but another clean sheet. I mean, you've not seen your team concede yet. They were conceding before you came in. I mean, what have you done? What have you asked differently of them? Because they do look tighter. Obviously, they are tighter at the back, but they seem to be defending better.
Oh, that's good. Thank you. Well, the lads did defend well. We sort of have a no excuse policy, and the non-negotiables, and one of the non-negotiables is like you never give up. If you lose the ball, it's fine, but you got to get back in. You have to defend for your life, and you have to protect the keeper. And I don't know if I've empowered the keeper, but I love my keepers. Like Craig, coming for stuff all the time takes pressure off. I don't like my goalkeeper staying on the goal line. I like him to be brave, and so in that respect they've done really well. I think defensive set pieces we've been a lot stronger on. We saw that was a bit of a problem before we came in, so I think the lads got a lot of first contacts today, which makes me really pleased. And then it's just the fact that we go on about it quite a bit. I mean, I talk a lot, and I do talk a lot about things like that, but there's a real desire in the dressing room, not to concede and to win football games. So, I appreciate there's always a little bit of a bounce when there's a management change. That always happens, but there's been real good shoots of growth, really. I was, like I said, I was really pleased. I was just disappointed we couldn't score in front of the home fans. I don't think in my whole career I've ever had 2 back-to-back 0-0s at home. That is pretty outrageous. But Even when I felt like we didn't pull the trigger enough first half, potentially. But then second half we did, and I want to try and empower the lads to defend well as a team, but attack well as a team, and you have to be brave to take shots on. And like I said, if you hit Marks and Spencers with your shot, that's absolutely fine. They'll repair the window and, try and get the next one on target.
Well, I think the whole thing's owned by the same guy, isn't it, really? So
yes, he won't mind.
Yeah.
He wants shots, so he'll be absolutely fine with it. So, yeah, no problem there. The insurance policy is always paid up to date, so we've got ourselves covered. But you have to, as an attacker, as a midfielder, you have to accept you're going to miss. You are. And you have to be brave enough to take that shot on, take another shot on, and, not try and score the perfect goal. And if I had one criticism of my team today, I just feel like at times we're trying to pick another pass or go out wide when you're right through them. But generally, second half's really good, and when called upon, we defended well. And obviously, we made changes because there were some tired bodies out there.
And it's one more game left, obviously, and then you've got a few months to figure out what you're going to do, who you keep, who you don't. I mean, obviously, not under contract, but
yeah, you're right. There will be fundamental change because the position we're in isn't, somewhere that myself, fans, the owners, everyone wants to be part of, and the players themselves. And there is loads of players under contract, and I will have loads of conversations, obviously, going forward. And there will be change. I've said loads of times, I do want more pace in my team. I do want more aggression in my team, but I do want to control. And large parts of today, I was really pleased, but it just felt like at times we just didn't have that extra cutting edge which we need. So it will be a really busy summer. It has been already. These last, what have I done, 10 days feel like about 10 months. So there's loads of
worse.
Yeah, I know. That's the joy of football management, isn't it? But the nice thing is when the season ends, you do a lot of your business when you're not still preparing the team and trying to do match stuff. You're just preparing the squad, which is good. So there's loads of conversations going on, as you well know, all the time, and we'll do our best to enhance the playing staff to hopefully perform better next year.
Okay. How much are you having to adapt to, or I suppose get used to League Two football, having obviously managed at much higher levels? Are you getting used to what it's like down here in League Two?
Yeah, I think so. I think, well, not fully, but I think so. I think all players can play. The higher up they go, they make less mistakes. The lower down they go, and if they've been lower down for a long period of time, the mistakes are more frequent, and that's what, as coaches, you try and get rid of, and then you try and train them through the week to be really certain on how we're playing. And I think in the space of 4 training days, I think we've had, I think the lads have done really well. So I do appreciate different levels, and I don't expect someone to bend in a 30-yard free kick yet, but I will next year. So I am aware, in the same way, if your team gets promoted, you have to work the other way. But I do like people who dream big. So I want them to play like they deserve to leave here on merit. I want them to play like they think they're championship players, or whatever the case may be. And that's what me and the coaches try and empower them with, and hopefully that will continue.
You said in your first press conference that you like the players to be part of the community and be on a familiar basis with the supporters. Yeah. I mean, there's still thousands of fans out there waiting to get their shirts signed, autographs from the players who are still out there. I mean, that sort of thing goes a long way, doesn't it? Yeah,
and I think the players can feel the warmth off the fan base, which is great. And like I said, you want to turn up as a player and feel like you're at home. Like I said to the lads before they went out today, you wouldn't just open the door to anyone and let them come in and nick your TV, would you? So this is our gaff, our home. We have to play like that is the case, and we have kept 2 clean sheets here, which is impressive, but we do need to add a lot more to our final third play. But it had a real nice feel to it today, obviously highlighted by the fact that it was Louis' last game, and it was fun, not funny, but there's always comedy to everything I tell you virtually. But when he came out, he was really emotional, which I wasn't expecting. And then someone said, well, he didn't even cry at his own wedding, gaffer. And I went, well, I didn't. Who cries at their own wedding? That's I don't get it. Is that a new thing, is it?
What are you signing away, exactly?
Yeah, exactly. You might cry from the whole, my life's gone. I don't know any blokes who cry from happiness on their wedding. That's weird. I didn't even cry when my children were born. I was chuffed, but I will cry if it's a really sad advert or Or if there's a roundup of, like the Olympics at the end, and they do a roundup of the 2 weeks, and they put really cool music to it, or Spandau Ballet Gold, and they do the moments. I'm like, oh my God, that's filling me up. But not at my own wedding. So that sort of tickled me. That brought me back round, because I was a bit choky when I saw my skip being choked up, and I know because I've retired, I know what a big moment it was. So I made a joke before the game, which is a bit sick, but I said, look, this is a day that you'll remember forever. It's a really historic day.